guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled No You Can't Have a Doctor's Note. So about 2 years ago I was heavily pregnant with extreme morning sickness, one of the lucky few to have it in the third trimester. I also am my partner's main form of transportation as he can't drive, so naturally I take him to work every morning. Unfortunately this means we were occasionally late due to me throwing up in the morning. One day I got extremely sick and my boyfriend had to call in to say he'd be later than usual, and we showed up an hour late. Normally it was something like 5 minutes, and his supervisors were very understanding of the situation. So no big deal, things happen. It sucked that he was so late today, but whatever. So after I dropped him off I chilled in the car for a second cuz motion sickness, and I hear someone tapping on my window. It was his boss. "'Kay?" So I open the window, thinking he's gonna ask about the baby and chit-chat. Whatever, go. "Hey man, what's up? How's it going? Hey, so I am gonna need you bring me a doctor's note." And I just stared at him. I had zero idea how to answer besides, for what? Well, to verify you're actually sick since partner had to come in late. The audacity. Dude, I am 8 months pregnant, I am not sick. Okay, but I'll still need a doctor's note. Bro, I don't work for you, and even if I did, you're not entitled to even ask for my medical information. Dude, what the hell? This is so offensive. You are a stranger, we've spoken like twice. I mean, it was a little anticlimactic cuz he just went sorry, and walked away, never brought it up again, but like, dude. What? Super bizarre. The next story is titled I Guess I'm the Pokemon Master Now? This happened back when I was a kid. I, 16F, and my brother, 13M, have been crazy into Pokemon since it came out. We basically grew up with it. Back then, Toys R Us used to host official Nintendo-sponsored Pokémon League events each Sat morning from 9 a.m. to noon. And we always went. My brother and I even started showing up early to help the organizer, a designated Toy R Us employee, in setting up. Let's call him Mario. It was easy. Go into the back employee-only room, grab tables, chairs, pens, promo cards to pass out, badges to award, and new badge books for the newcomers. Now, Mario didn't know crap about Pokemon, but my brother and I were super used to the league, from when we attended at card shops, so we let him know what was when he didn't know what to do. He quickly just pushed more and more of the tasks onto me. FYI, I was happy to take on the duties. Pretty soon my brother and I were kind of running the event and he'd disappear for most of the 3 hours. No one seemed to notice, or care, though, since I was doing a great job and all the kids were having a great time. Also, I was damn near unbeatable, and in the world of card games, that makes you the boss. That's just how it works. Lol. My brother and I noticed that Mario hadn't shown up in like 3 weeks. Not that we really cared. We just went into the back room by ourselves, carried the tables and chairs out, passed out the promo card to each attendee, stamped their badge books, presided over matches, gave awards, etc. Then, at noon, cleaned up, took the tables and chairs back, neatly stacked, and hung around until our mom came to pick us up. So, on the 3rd week after noticing that Mario hadn't shown up, another employee, let's call him Rex, finds my brother and me as we're putting stuff away and asks, "Are you the ones that have been running the Pokemon thing the last few weeks?" Yes, we answer, and you can visibly see a look of, "Oh crap," on his face. Like he wasn't sure what to do now. So, he stands there thinking for a bit and then asks, "How old are you?" 15, I answer. "Okay, don't go anywhere." He leaves and comes back and gets basic info from me, like name, address, etc. Bless my naive little heart, I answer everything. Then we leave. Next Sat, business as usual. The following Sat, Rex shows up after we get done putting away all the stuff and hands me an envelope. Inside is a paycheck for like $130. It was back pay for all the hours I had worked. Turns out, Rex was the manager and he'd been getting so many compliments from the parents about their employee that runs the Pokemon League, that he'd been trying to find that employee for weeks, but all his employees kept saying, "It's not me." Apparently, it was a complete mystery to everyone how the tables and chairs were being put out and being put back and who was running the event. Remember, my brother and I were just another pair of kids in a crowd of 25-plus kids ages 6 to 30 of random players. As far as the Toys R Us staff was concerned, it was a ghost running the events. And that's how I accidentally got my first job, because parents just assumed I worked there and the manger ran with it, lol. Oh, as for Mario, I never found out what happened to him, but I never saw him again. And, to this day, 38. I still have it in my resume that my first job was as a Pokémon master. Strange thing is, not a single employer has ever questioned it, and I've gotten some high LVL jobs, so shrugs. The next story is titled Sweet Revenge on My Landlord. I live in an expensive part of the United States. To live in a 500-square-foot cottage, it costs me $2,100. Upon moving in, the 70-year-old landlady gave me the impression that the space would be a private sanctuary. She failed to mention that from the moment I moved in, she would start doing loud, invasive, and extensive work on my property. To give you a little idea of the space, there is a 3-bedroom house next door, and then there my place, a separate unit with its own yard. Attached is a yet another unit that has been under construction. The landlady told me she planned on building a dance studio. She failed to mention that she would be building this when I signed the lease. Originally, the space was a 2-bedroom, but she built a closet separating the unit and turned it into a small 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, with a tiny kitchen with a living room. It's expensive, but hey, it's by the beach, secluded, and I thought I would have privacy. Boy, was I wrong. The landlady and her workers are here every single day from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., sometimes later, just generally when it gets dark outside. She has an unlicensed contractor working from 3 to 8 p.m., because that's the only time I can get him, since he has a day job. They are cutting stones, doing all kinds of landscaping, redoing different structural parts of the houses, so loud hammering, but worst of all, the landlady is just always there. It felt like she was constantly watching me. I can't keep my windows open or have the luxury of walking around naked in my own home because there is someone always there. The last thing I want when I come home at 5 p.m. after a long day of work is to hear loud noises, let alone my landlady. I put up with this crap because I didn't want to create conflict. But then she left an eviction notice in my mailbox informing me that she smelled some cigarette smoke and that I had to move out within 30 days. Despite me being frustrated with the situation, I am very busy with work and didn't want to deal with finding a new place. I just had moved in 4 months prior, and it's a pain in the butt to find a place to live in this town. Lucky for me, she didn't realize that a just cause eviction law had recently passed in the city. I wrote her a lengthy letter, informing her that she doesn't have grounds kicking me out based on a smell, and must pay me to move out. Here is the revenge. I went down to the city, and informed them that I have a hunch she had illegally turned her unit into a duplex. They came to my place the next day. I let them inspect my residence and showed them the work she had been doing in the unit connected to mine. They said they would look into it. I get a response from her lawyer letting me know that she was in fact wrong, and can't kick me out. She told my wife that she thinks that I am evil and that she had to go to therapy because of my letter. She also told her that the house got red tagged because I reported her to the city. So now she can't have a duplex anymore, and is going to have to occupy the other half as a room. Say bye-bye to your plans on building a dance studio. She will also have to demo all the work that has already been done, because she didn't get permits. All because she was upset that she thought she smelled smoke in the house. I have never felt so good getting someone back using the city laws against them. Duck landlords that try and screw people out of a home because they are control freaks. I definitely taught her a lesson, and am moving out at the end of the month because I don't want to live here anymore. The next story is titled, Boss, You're Fired. Or I don't know, man, I just answer phones. It's what I do. This happened a few years back. I can easily admit that this was mostly my fault. I went to a mechanic first thing in the morning for some urgent repairs on my car that had been sitting for 9 months unattended. A little backstory. Around the time this happened I had been in the Navy for about 5 years and just come back from a 9-month deployment on a ship. Now on a ship there are probably over 100 different spaces or rooms owned by different groups of people. Because of my job and responsibilities you could find me in any one of 30 of those places at any given time. It's generally the rule that if you're in a space whether you own it or not you answer that phone like, good, time of day, place name, your rank and last name, how can I help you? Now if you're doing that at least 30 times a day for a year it almost becomes a reflex. Now to the story. Cast me. Mechanic manager, AM. Auto mechanic, PC, phone caller. Me. Hey do you think you'd be able to take a look at my car today? Nah man, I don't think so, we're pretty booked up today. What's wrong with it? Me. I just got back and when I turned it on and started driving it sounded like someone tried to duck a pencil sharpener with a drill bit. Even if you can't look at it today I can wait because honestly I do and I think I'd feel safe driving it back home or anywhere else. Lol. Okay, well that does sound pretty bad. Let me check with my guy and see if we can possibly get to it today or tomorrow. Me. Awesome, thanks. At this point he goes back to the actually mechanic area, whatever you call it, and leaves me at the counter. A minute later the cordless phone on the counter rings. Reflexively I pick it up and turn it on before I even know I'm doing it. Me. Good morning. Now it's at this point I realized I had ducked up. But in the Navy we have a phrase, if you're wrong, stay wrong, so I took it to heart and dove in with both feet. Me. This is MM's auto shop. How can I help you? PC. Hi, can I make an appointment for lunchtime today? Me. I don't know mate, they seem pretty busy but I'll check for you. After another minute or two walks out. I hand him the phone and before I can tell him otherwise he answers, the phone effectively hanging up on PC. I explain what happened and what PC wanted. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to. Lunch is booked solid. But why did you answer the phone? Me. IDK mate, I just answer phones. It's what I do. So now me and are filling out paperwork to check my car in when this car comes screeching into the parking lot and this dude jumps out and damn near kicks the door in until he figures out you have to pull. PC. How ducking dare you hang up on me? To ME. Is this the guy? Me. IDK mate. Probably? PC to ME. You're the one who effing hung up on me. You couldn't just answer a simple effing question? You just hang up on me? Hang up on ME. Sir can get you to take it down a notch or two. PC. Don't tell me to calm down. I want to talk to a manager right effing now. Sir, that's me. Now again if you could, PC. Don't effing tell me to calm down. I want a manager to fire him and I'm not leaving until I talk to the manager. Now AM had walked in about 10 seconds earlier and caught the tail end of this altercation. He steps up with and speaks with some real authority. AM. Listen. I don't know and honestly I don't even care what's happening out here. You're both fired and I want you off the property in the next half hour or I am calling the police. Stares dumbfounded while I just kinda chuckle awkwardly. PC. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Now what time do you think you'll be able to look at my car? AM. Well obviously I just fired 2 guys so I'm gonna be a little short-handed for a while. I can't honestly say but it won't be today. PC huffs dramatically and says fine and walks out. AM shrugs, turns around and heads towards the garage. AM, did you just fire me? AM. Huh? Oh ha. Yeah, sorry boss. And then we all laugh about it for a bit and then get back to work. The next story is titled Karen expect a 15-year-old kid to do everything for her precious daughter. Karens. I never thought I would meet one in the wild. But I did. K is Karen. KD is Karen's daughter and M is me. At this time I had pretty much just turned 15. This story takes place at a small art store near my home. This store is fairly small and only has 3 employees working in it. I really like to draw so I come into this store maybe once every second week, and me and the 3 employees were on fairly good terms. I had just gotten off school, and since it was a pretty nice day out I decided to take a slightly longer way home so I could stop by the art store. I was walking the entire way with my headphones on blasting some music, and I kept them in the store. I did quiet the music down a lot so if anyone needed to say something to me I would hear it. Now this store didn't have a lot of customers at once. I think the most I've seen is 5 including me. And this day was no different. There was a guy maybe a few years older than me looking at some paint markers. And then there was the Karen and her daughter. I didn't think anything of them since they weren't doing anything yet. I quickly went to the section with a bunch of sketching pencils and began picking out the ones I needed. Now I am a person that hates all confrontation. I will avoid it at all costs. I get nervous and stressed easily so if someone tries to annoy me I will try to ignore it. Karen's daughter appears in the end of the shelf I'm looking at. She looks at me for a while before walking up to me. She tugs on my shirt and I look down at her and take out one of my headphones. Can I help you? KD. I need markers. I looked at her in confusion for a moment. Me. I'm sorry, but I don't know where they are. That was not fully a lie. Telling someone at an art store that you are looking for markers is pretty useless. KD looks at me like I've grown a new head. KD. You need to find me markers. I want markers. At this point she is raising her voice a lot. And I really don't want a screaming child in front of me. So I quickly grab the last pencil I need before turning to KD. I'm sorry, but I really can't help you. I then plugged my headphones back in, and walk out of the pencil aisle. I quickly moved over to the section where they have some Copic markers, some very good but also expensive markers. After I found about 4 that I needed, my shoulder was roughly grabbed and I was turned around. I then came face to face with a very angry Karen. I was a bit shocked from being grabbed so roughly, so I didn't catch what Kay said. I'm sorry, what? Kay now looked furious. The hand that was resting on my shoulder now grabbed and yanked my headphones out. Kay, how can you just wear headphones in here? How irresponsible are you? I was now very confused and was getting extremely nervous. Lady, I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you are talking about. Kay. Oh, don't pretend to be innocent. You don't get to just ignore my kid and act like nothing happened. Now do your job and help my daughter. I'm sorry, lady, but I don't work here. I was just getting some supplies for myself. I weakly lifted up my hand that still had the pencils and markers in it. This was not the correct thing to do. Karen looked ready to slap me. Kay. Don't you try to play innocent, young lady. You obviously work here, what? So now you are going to help my daughter or I will inform your manager about your behavior. I'm sorry, but I don't work here. Now please get off me. This was finally when one of the employees noticed me and came over. Employee. Is everything okay here? Kay. No. This girl was ignoring my daughter. You really need to watch out for the young people you are hiring. Some young people will just slack off. Now I was really starting to get annoyed and tired. Kay still hadn't taken a step back and was way too close for my liking. I already told you. I don't work here. Now please take a step back. The employee looked at me and then at Karen. Before they got an angry look on their face. Employee. Ma'am, please back off the customers or I'm going to remove you myself. Kay finally took a step back and turned her full attention to the employee. Kay. How dare you? She was clearly the one in the wrong. The employee looked over at me. And could easily see that I was starting to shake. Employee. My name, you can leave. I will handle this. I quickly thanked to employee before walking around both them and Kay. In less than 10 seconds I was at the cash register where I quickly place all of the items I still had in my hand before quickly booking it to the door. I could hear Kay yelling at that poor employee before I left. I didn't go back to that store for around a month. But when I finally returned, the same employee came up to me and started to apologize for Kay's behavior. Apparently she had continued to yell at the employee, until they had to remove her and her then crying child from the building. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.